I'm joined by the one and only, the mighty Hebrew Hammer, Aleks Salkin. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give you the Kettlebell Fat Loss Formula. Let me prep you. This is not complicated, and that is the point. We are going to give you simple and straightforward daily assignments using a kettlebell, but expanding a little bit beyond that, that if you just do these few little things every single day, then we can almost guarantee, because there's no true guarantees in life, but almost guarantee that you're going to notice great improvements in how you look and how you feel, specifically a reduction of body fat and improvement across your lean, muscularness, and energy will go up for sure. So, Aleks, good to see you, man. How you doing?
It's great to be back. I'm feeling great, doing well, looking forward to helping people crush some weakness and flay some flab. How about that?
Yeah, good. All right, so we were brainstorming and we thought, what would be a good, just practical formula for people to use? Not complicated, could get it done every day, low barrier to entry, zero excuse. And here's what we came up with, ladies and gentlemen. Let us lay it out for you, and then we're going to justify each piece and give you the subtle nuances. All right, so what we're going to focus on here is essentially just if you remember the number 100 and attach it to the following things, a lot of magic is going to happen in your life. You're going to do 100 kettlebell swings per day. You're going to consume 100 grams of lean protein per day. You're going to do some form of crawling. We'll talk about that for 100 paces per day. And then the last one, you kind of have two options. Beginner is not 100, it's 10, a 10-minute walk, preferably after meals, or just 100 minutes of total walking per day. I would really prefer you do the 100 minutes. I understand life is a little bit busy, so you can think of minimum 10 minutes. If you can get up to 100, awesome and fantastic. So to summarize again, 100 swings, 100 grams of protein, 100 some sort of crawling in terms of paces, 100 paces of crawling, and 10 minutes to 100 minutes of walking, preferably brisk walking. So let's talk about each of these in turn. Aleks, why are we doing 100 kettlebell swings a day? What's special about the kettlebell swing? Why is this in the little fat loss formula we have so far presented to the good people?
Well, first and foremost, it's the kind of weight training movement that really is like outsized in terms of the bang for your buck. You can do 100 swings in about 5 minutes if you're in decent shape. Maybe you might stretch it out to 10 if it's a little bit heavier kettlebell, but it allows you to hit a lot of muscle all at once. It's also a nice blend between strength and conditioning, and you're recruiting especially very big muscles such as the glutes, which are the largest muscles in the body, the hamstrings. It's forcing you to have very good posture, which we all have a tendency to lose as we just hunch over our computers and our phones all the live long day. And again, I think the convenience is also something that can't be overstated because you don't need a lot of space to do swings or to store a kettlebell at all. So those would be my big reasons.
Yeah, good. Just to expand on that a little bit, the kettlebell swing, as Dan John describes it, is the fat-burning athlete builder. I think that's a great way to present the kettlebell swing. As Aleks said, awesome strength, conditioning, power, teaches you to produce and reduce force, important athletic qualities. It burns a mountain of calories, and you can perform it in lots of different ways to keep things interesting and to experience a range of benefits. So, yeah, 100 swings a day doesn't take a long time, but I would encourage anybody who's going to do this, which I hope is everybody, mix up how you get your 100 swings. Some days just go light. You could even do single kettlebell swings and see how quickly you can get all those swings done, maybe even without resting. Just switch arms as much as you need. So really light, kind of more like a jog. Other days, just do standard, sets of 10, something like that, decent weight, lots of power. And then maybe even, not maybe once or twice a week, go heavier with it. Think about using, a weight where even 5 reps is pretty challenging. It'll take a little bit longer, but if you throw that into the mix, I think you'll get a lot more benefit overall, especially in terms of your ability to produce force. So you have standard swings, single arm swings, power swings where you park the bell between each rep. That's great if you're going a lot heavier. So yeah, it's one exercise, but it hits so many different things at once, and there's a lot of ways to mix it up and keep it interesting. Aleks, is there a particular time when people should do their 100 swings, or is this formula just, hey, whenever you get it done, you get it done? Or is there an ideal here?
I like the idea of getting it done when you get it done because a lot of people like to try to think of optimization to the point where they're paralyzing themselves in terms of taking action. And so, for many people, it's waking up early in the morning while the rest of the house is still asleep, get your training in, make sure that you get your commitments done, and then, tackle whatever you got to do for the rest of the day. Some people prefer to do it when they get off work and they get home, and that's when they have the time. I think the key is no matter when you do it, including all the different elements, you might have to do them at different times. As long as you
Yes.
get it in, you're good to go. There might
Yeah.
be marginal benefits from, forcing it to be done at a certain time, but as long as you get it done when you can, just make sure that you don't skip your commitments.
Good, yeah. So I always like swallowing the biggest frog first. I agree with Alex that the most important thing is you get it done, regardless of when you get it done. But for me personally, when I have multiple things to do in a day, I always like to get the biggest thing done first. It sort of sets the tone of the day. So I suspect for a lot of people, look, 100 swings doesn't take that long. This would be, I think, a great thing to do before breakfast. Just get up, do a little warm up, just crank out the 100 swings, be done with it. You're gonna feel good, and you're gonna be motivated to conquer the rest. All right, so there's 100 swings, easy. You know how to do the swing if you're watching this channel. If not, watch more of what's on this channel or Alex's, lots of demos and tutorials. Let's go to the protein thing next. I'll hit this quickly and then we'll get Alex's thoughts. Protein is one of those magical things that we see. This is well established that when protein, especially lean protein, goes up, a lot of other things nutritionally sort of fall into place, and this makes sense. Protein has is high on the satiety index. It's satiating, has a high thermic effect. It definitely helps with muscle recovery and making sure that you have the fuel you need to recover from tough workouts. So what happens for a lot of people is instead of thinking of taking a whole bunch of stuff out of your diet, often if you think of just putting more kind of good stuff in, especially lean protein, things just sort of tend to line up in a positive way more or less automatically. And a lot of times you hear eat a gram of protein per pound of body weight per day. That's the old bro science rule, and that's actually not bad. But for a lot of people, it's sometimes it's a bit much. It's a little it overshoots. It's more than you probably need. But 100 grams per day is sort of a sweet spot. It's very reasonable. It's very doable. And it will help fill you up. It will help to reduce not just hunger, but cravings as well, and make sure you have the quality fuel you need to not only get through your day, but your workouts as well. So if you only make one little nutritional tweak, focus on increasing your lean protein, chicken, salmon, turkey. I like using protein shakes. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to do it, but it's a convenient tool to get the protein numbers in without having to go through a whole bunch of cooking or prep or anything like that. Alex, what else would you add to this part of the fat loss formula?
I think that pretty much covers it because, protein is one of the things everybody understands that they need to get, and they don't really know what the metrics are that they need to be going toward. Or, they get a good rule of thumb, like again, the 1 gram per pound of body weight, or per pound of lean body weight, or per pound of goal body weight, depending on who you're talking to. And of course, this can shift quite a bit, and it sort of puts the onus on the individual to figure out, well, how many grams do I actually need? So if you start off with 100, you make that your daily requirement, no matter what, then eventually you can adjust it up or down or however else you need it. But you have to establish this first. And once you've got that and you've done it, let's say 20, 30 days, and you can start to see that you're moving in the right direction, it'll let you know if you need to put the pedal to the metal or if you can keep cruising what you're doing.
Yeah, awesome. And one more thing, because look, we're giving kind of general targets here, and there's always going to be exceptions, but I think don't miss the forest for the trees. Big doors swing on little hinges, as the saying goes. And, you could get hyper precise and detailed, but for most people, most of the time, it just gets overwhelming, confusing, complicated, and then they quit. So often, you're so much better off just getting a general idea, just a practical guideline that is simple, accessible, sustainable. And yeah, you could optimize it in 1,000 different ways and add a million different details, but just don't worry about that. Just follow these simple guidelines because they are simple. Put them into place. That's our challenge to you. I think you're going to see many good things come out of that. Alex, tell us about the crawling thing. Why are we putting this in here and how are people to do it?
Well, first things first, I've run a crawling challenge almost every year since 2018, toward the end of the year. It's my Crawl-A-Days challenge. And one of the consistent themes that I've noticed, now it's 10 minutes a day, and I also include a bit of programming so that you can get progressively more challenged with the movements, like more challenging crawling variations and what have you. But for now, again, we'll keep it very simple. And I'll just say this. A lot of people, by the time they get to the end of the challenge, realize that they have shredded a lot of fat, despite the fact that it's happening during, the holiday season. So lots of Christmas cookies. Again, there's also like Thanksgiving dinners. You got all sorts of, family events, plenty of cake and sweets and other stuff like that running around, and yet they're still shredding fat. So if you add on to the fact, then you don't have to do 10 minutes even. You can just do 100 total paces, broken up however is necessary. By the way, one pace would be one step left, one step right. So if you want to be really pedantic, you might say 200, but we're going to just count, one rep, quote unquote, on either
Got it.
side
hmm
as
And
the
we're
as
talking
the
like
pace.
simple, could be simple bear crawls, just getting on,
100%.
getting on,
Absolutely.
get down on your hands and just literally just crawling around like you used to do in gym class. That's it. And this is a great complement to swings too, because now you're using a lot more of the front side, the anterior, right? You're going
Exactly.
to get more of the upper body. You're going to get a lot of mobility, stability. So it's still metabolically demanding, but it's going to complement the swings in a very functional way, right?
Exactly. And not only that, but many people tend to find that in addition to what you've mentioned and what I mentioned previously, they're also improving their mobility, their conditioning. I'll underline again, the fat loss component can't be overlooked. I don't exactly know why it works, other than the fact that you're loading up your gait pattern, you're doing something that involves all of your muscles at the same time,
hmm
but it has this like great effect over a whole bunch of different things that we're looking for. And in some sense, it's like the movement version of the swing, let's say, in
That's
terms of
good.
what it gives to you versus what it requires from you in terms of time
Yeah.
and effort.
And not only that, but if people want to make it more efficient, you might want to consider putting the crawls between your sets of swings in the morning. So you do your set of
Absolutely.
swings, you do your 10 reps, your 15 reps, whatever, and then you do however many paces of whatever crawl you want. You don't have to do a bear crawl every time. You could do a leopard crawl where you bring your knees a little closer to the ground. You could do the old crab walk if you want to bring the crab walk back. The idea is you're just getting on the ground. Such an important skill to be able to get up and off the ground with slickness and ease, and
Mhm.
you're crawling not just forward and backwards, but you should explore side to side, diagonal, all of it, right, Alex?
Exactly. Exactly. It keeps it interesting. It's kind of like what you mentioned with the swings earlier, where sometimes you're doing power swings, sometimes you're just doing, let's say, sets of 10 or 20. Other times it's one hand, two hands. Mixing it up a little bit keeps it interesting. And it also makes the daily commitment easier to do because it doesn't feel like you're doing something boring. You're always adding a little bit of a same but different component to it.
Yeah. And now for people who might be thinking, well, okay, but this doesn't sound all that tough. It's not always supposed to be tough, but if you want to do yourself a real nasty, combine the heavy swing day. Say you're doing start stop swings for 5 reps, and then find a little hill and just crawl up it backwards, and then come tell Alex it wasn't tough enough, and see.
Yeah, that'll get your attention, folks.
Yeah, that'll be good. Don't do that every day, but if you want to do a nasty to yourself, that'd be the way to go about it. All right, let us finish now with the walking component. I mean, we've talked about walking before, but let's just reiterate the main points. So important. Brisk walking has all sorts of, and by brisk walking, like walk in a way that, like, if somebody creepy was following you, right? That kind of pace, right? Don't want to totally run and cause a scene, but you want to create a good amount of distance, right? Think about that.
Yeah.
Like if Alex is behind you, yeah, you're
Yeah, exactly. And not
or
dead
so
sprint,
or
but
so, says the guy who like literally looks like a vagrant.
yeah.
So that's you want to have a good pace with this, right? This is going to be great cardio. It's going to have a wonderful metabolic effect. Do it outside if you can. Get some sunshine. Get the vitamin D. It's going to improve your mood. It's going to improve your recovery. And it really is just walking is so much joint gliding. It is so good for your joints, right? Like people
Mhm.
don't understand. Like walking is just such a great therapy for just basic joint health. Your spine, your hips, your knees, everything. It just keeps things gliding and moving. So at a minimum, after the easiest thing is like after 10 meals, go for a 10-minute. Sorry, don't have 10 meals. After every meal, go for a 10-minute walk. But if you can even just do an extended walk, I think that's even better. And if you can get 100 minutes total every single day, I think you're going to just be an absolute rock star. Alex, what did I forget to say about walking? Any other points?
I think you covered the most important parts. It's really difficult to overdo it on the walking side of the equation. And, the ideal would be to do, like what you mentioned, a nice long walk every day. But if it comes down to just make it a point to get in a couple minutes after each meal or park your car a little further away from Target so that you've got another excuse to add another couple minutes, you'd be amazed at how much you can rack up in a very short amount of time. And your energy levels are only going to go up. You're not going to be completely wiped out from walking a couple extra steps per day.
Yeah, rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Kettlebell Fat Loss Formula. Let us know in the comments if you're taking part. Let us know what questions you have. Before you go, we got a few freebies. You can get 101 free kettlebell workouts from old Patsy McFly here over at 101kettlebellworkouts.com. That's the numbers 101kettlebellworkouts.com. Alex, what do you got for the gentle listeners today?
If you go to 9minutechallenge.com, you can get my, wait for it, 9-minute kettlebell and bodyweight challenge. Super simple. I wouldn't say super easy necessarily, but it is a sort of a thing that can be done daily, and it's based around strengthening your gait pattern for faster fat loss, improved strength, better mobility, and you might even look better at the end of it. Hard to
Love
say,
it.
but couldn't hurt to try.
So those are free resources to take your training to the next level. But in the meantime, we hope you get started with the Kettlebell Fat Loss Formula and see awesome results. Catch you guys next time.